Okay, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this problem. To actually do it the way they want you to, you're going to need a graphing calculator. But we're going to show you later on in this chapter how to solve something like this. But right now we're talking about graphing, and I want to show you kind of what the graph means. So they give us this equation and they want us to solve it. Okay, so let's say I subtract, oh, and they want us to solve it graphically. Okay, so let's say I subtract 2.8. I get 39.2 equals 1.2 times 5 to the power of x. And now let's say I divide both sides by 1.2. And I would have 5 to the x equals, and then I'll have to divide this out, 1.2. And I get like 32.667. Okay? All right. So I get something like this for this statement. Now, if I wanted to think about the graph and I wanted to make it a function, I could set this over to 0, like I could subtract this over. So I could say my function is equal to 5 to the power of x minus 32.667. And I know a little bit then about that graph. I know that it's going to go up really quickly. I know it's going to go through the point 0. It's not going to go through that point. I'll have to erase that. It's going to shift down, right? It's going to shift down like almost 33. So it's like way down here and shifting down, you know, let's say this is like negative 32.667, and then the whole graph's gonna shift down that much, and then it's gonna go up fairly quickly because of the 5, you know, something like this, right? And then it's gonna go something like that. We know it's increasing. What else do we know? We know if we made a little table of values and put in 0, you know, 0 for x, we would get negative 32.7. And then if I put in 1, I'm going to have negative, you know, 27.7. And if I put in 2, I'm going to have like, now it's 32.7 minus 25. I'm going to have like 7 point, you know, 7, something like that. Oh, negative. It's negative. So like this is x, this is f of x. Anyway, I'm still in the negatives, right? So here at 0, we had that point. Here at 1, it's going down to like negative 27, you know, somewhere down in here. And then at 2, I'm getting negative 7.7, you know, it's getting closer, right? All right, my graph's off a little bit. Not drawn very well. It should be a little bit steeper, shouldn't it? Yeah, something like that. It's like over here someplace. And then what happens at 3? Well, when I get to 3, I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on this. Now I'm like mad that it's not drawn good. All right, so it's going up pretty steep, like that. But when you put in 3, you're getting 125, right? And 125 minus 32, I don't know what that is. It's going to be off my paper, though. And that happens at 3. So somewhere between 2 and 3 is going to be the solution. That's going to be the 0 for that function. And that's kind of what we were working on in chapter 3, was finding zeros. So I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it's going to be pretty close to 2, I think. All right, let's see what the answer was. The answer was 2.166, but you'd have to put this in a graphing calculator and run a trace to get that answer. Okay, and I don't know if you have a graphing calculator. You can do that on your own if you want. But we know quite a bit just by doing it by hand. We also have ways to solve this later on, but we need logarithms, and we haven't talked about those yet.